and Derek McKnight.
All right. How y'all doing?
Give you a little background, right? They come from the struggle, right? They started their own nonprofit, their own organization to help people like us learn how to change our patterns, change our ideals, change our beliefs and our behaviors, right? When I used to run the Joshua Achievement Center, Derek and I met and we became friends, and we collaborated on some things. Every year they host. Every year they host what's called the Recovery Ball, right? They supply suits, gowns, shirts, ties, shoes, all free to about 500 people.
That's about right.
Right, every single year, because of their tireless dedication to helping people who come from the environments that we come from transition and change our lives. Right, and with that, I'm turning this man over to them. In Philly. All right. Maybe we can try to start something like that down here.
Yes. All right, how y'all doing? All right. And can we do the Serenity Prayer? Would that be no Serenity Prayer? Is that okay?
Yes.
All right, y'all. Who woke us up?
God, grant us serenity to accept the things that I cannot change, the courage to change the things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference.
God's will, not ours, be done. Amen.
Amen.
First, we'd like to always thank God for last night's rest this morning, rise.
Yes.
Thank God for His grace and His mercy.
Yes.
Grace is always giving me what I don't deserve. And mercy is not giving me what I do deserve. And for that, I'm eternally grateful. How everybody doing? I'm Derek McKnight. That's Robert Hayes. Together we call it the Minds of Men. Non-profit spiritual organization. We don't deal with religion. We immigrants. I'm from Baltimore, but I live in Philadelphia. I left Baltimore because I was uncivilized, undisciplined, smoking weed, chasing women in and out of jail. Homicidal, suicidal, deaf, dumb, blind, and ignorant. And everybody I was hanging with was living the same way, thinking the same way. At the end of the day, I was depressed, unfulfilled, unhappy, and miserable. Anybody ever felt like that?
Yes.
So I was living in the matrix, right? So I left, and I wanted to go to New York. I got a lot of cousins in the Bronx. They said you can make it in New York City, you can make it where?
Anywhere.
But to live in New York City is what? Very expensive. So I didn't have the money for New York, so I landed in South Philly. And then anybody is ex-drug addicts? Anybody used to do drugs in here? Let's be honest. Okay. All right, okay.
The good stuff, the good stuff.
So I've been on drugs. I've been on drugs for what? 20 years. I've been in 8 recovery programs. Get clean for 30 days, get high again.
Yes.
Get clean for 2 months, get high again. Always talking clean and always living dirty. Anybody got that problem in here? Who talk clean but live dirty? All right. Any dressed up trash cans in here? All right. Okay. So anyway, listen. But see, when you do it, when I got my life together, finally, God put me on a path of recovery, and then that's why I met this good man right here, Brother Rob, in the year 2009. We've been together every day since, right? So our workshops, it's on about what? It's about empowerment. It's about changing the way we think. It's about changing the way we talk and changing the way we walk, right? The war always starts here. If I lose here, I lose out there. Everybody understand that? So we're going to get into some yin and yang with crowd participation. Then we're going to beat it like Michael Jackson within like 45 minutes, all right? We're going to have a good time tonight. Y'all ready?
Yes.
Come on, Rob. You ready?
Yeah, and we think this, I can say we started in 2006 when they had that 407 murders. Right now in Philadelphia, they're probably going to eclipse the murder thing.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? A lot of times it's happening in urban cities, Philadelphia, New York, Baltimore. It's all happening the same thing. It's like a murder phenom, right? People don't like each other. So they're really thinking it's like a mental health thing going on, right? People don't know how to deal with their emotions. In Philadelphia, in the rooms area, we call it learning how to feel, deal, so we can heal. That makes sense? Because a lot of times, people don't know how to deal with their feelings and their emotions. So they go tick, tick, boom. Especially young people. Right? Remember back in the day, you might have a fight with somebody in school. You fight Monday, they win. Tuesday, you win. Wednesday was a tie. Friday, you'll wind up being friends. Right now, somebody fighting in the daytime. They die at night. And they're coming to people's houses, shooting at the grandmoms and all that kind of stuff. So it's like totally off the chart. So what we basically do with Minds of Men, we deal with what they call the CBT, cognitive behavior therapy. It's something that you got to learn how to talk situations. Everybody here has somebody they can talk to about their problems? Raise their hand. You got somebody you can talk to.
Real important.
If you don't have nobody to talk to, raise your hand. You don't have nobody to talk to.
Raise your hands. Go ahead. We got one.
Very important. And if you don't have somebody, you can talk to my brother right here. It's very important. Why? Like I say, because a lot of times misdirected anger always hurts people that we don't mean to hurt. Okay? So real quick, we're going to talk about a few things. We're going to talk about prosperity versus prison, the prison pipeline and all that kind of stuff. You ever hear that? A lot of times when kids fail out of school, they wind up going straight to the prison. They did a study. They do, if you can't read by the time you're in the 3rd grade, or if you can't read on level by the time you're in the 3rd grade, they know they can make a prison for you. See, because if you can't think well, somebody's going to do the thinking for you. So, once again, what we're going to do is we're going to look at a few things here, look at our vision, because a lot of times how we perceive things might not always be. Might not always be like that. You ever hear somebody be like, they get caught in a hotel, and they be like, you going to believe me or the monitor? That wasn't me in there with her. So we will lie, and we will lie, we will even believe our own lie. Anybody ever tell themselves, I'm just going to use one? You understand what I'm saying? Next day, you know what I mean? We busted, discussed it, and can't be trusted. We got a word up here called pride, right? We use some of these acronyms, right? Kind of help us remember a little easier. The word called pride, we call it the primary reason I die early. You understand? The primary reason I die early. Why? Because we letting petty frustration stop us from uniting with our family. Taking care of our daughters, taking care of our children, and so forth. Do you know the father is the first male relationship the daughter has? And you are the role model for every man she deals with until. That's right. You follow me? How many guys here are comfortable with, bringing somebody home just like you? We'll hold that thought. Hold that thought. Program. They call it programs, but people relying on God to relay a message. Sometimes a program could be like here. Right? And there's a lot of programs in Philadelphia. A lot of times there's a saying, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. So you have to be like ready mentally, spiritually, and physically in order to change your life, right? Poor. I don't want us to be poor. They got poor meaning what? People overlooking opportunity repeatedly. Always overlooking stuff, right? Right there before us. There's a few stories we can talk. We'll talk about that later. Hope. Hearing other people's experience. Why is it important to hear other people's experience? Because some people that I thought was hope to die dope fiends got themselves together, and if they can get themselves together, what that mean? We can too. Steps. The steps is that you might find in the 12-step fellowship. We call it the solution to every problem serenely. I had to learn to solve my problems while I put my hands on people. How many people had a problem putting their hands on people? We be giving them the Holy Ghost. I'm serious, because that's how, when you're living in the street, guess what things you learn in the street make sense, right? So guess what they told me? You got to get them before they get you. You understand what I'm saying? And that's not the way things are going in society today. Finally, fly. Fly means what? Once I start doing that personal work, guess what I'm doing? I'm finally loving me. You got to learn how to love yourself, because if you don't love yourself, you can't truly love somebody else. This right here, I don't know if I'm a little old. I'm like over 50 plus, right? So this was my Starship Enterprise. Y'all remember Captain Kirk?
Yes, sir.
Captain Kirk was a player. You know that? He had the purple girl. He had the green girl. He took a girl from a guy. I was like, Kirk, he just knows what to say and how to handle any situation. But Captain Kirk and Starship, right? The Star Trek. Guess what? They had mortal enemies, and they would pop out of nowhere. What's a place around here people use a lot of drugs?
Right down the street.
Right down the street.
Let's call it right down the street. Out of nowhere, right? Well, the Philly used to call Star Trek, they call them Klingons, right? So the Klingons would pop out of nowhere. And they'd be like, where's my $5? Right? So he pop out of nowhere. Y'all know the first thing Captain Kirk would say? No, that's another story. He would say, shields up. So he would put the shields up, right? And guess what? they couldn't shoot in and he couldn't shoot out. If this shield stay up long enough, guess what it becomes? It becomes a prison. So anybody here ever had their heart broke before? Who like to get, you don't like to get the heart broken. You don't like that, right? So what you do? You put your shields up. You put your shields up, right? So if I keep the shields up long enough, it becomes a prison. And we're not doing what we was talking about earlier, learning how to feel, deal, and heal. This is what we got to learn to do so we can be human, right? So now I got to learn when to keep my shields up in a dangerous situation and learn to pull my shields down when somebody really loves me and we can develop and work together, right? But because of the trauma of having our heart broke, somebody stabbing us, cheating on us and all that, we learn to keep our shields up at the wrong time. So we start looking over here, we're going to be looking at what? How we perceive things, because just because we see it a certain way, that don't mean that's the way it is. You ever hear some women say this? I like the bad boys. How many girls, how many ladies like the bad boys? Who used to like bad boys? All right. You don't know if he coming home or not. You don't know if he going to pay the rent. You take the trash and all that kind of stuff. There's a lot of things going with a bad boy. But we want you to understand what we perceive might not always be good for us. Just because you like it might not be good for you. So we're going to look over here and how we can challenge the way that we think. Yeah.
Number one, fear. Fear. Anybody live in fear? We're talking about the mindset of what? Poverty. Mm-hmm. Number one, fear. Who's afraid of rejection? Mm. Who's afraid of rejection? Mm. When we fear rejection, how do we operate? We play it safe. How many guys are afraid of what? Being rejected by a woman? I used to be. Anybody hear that?
All y'all put your hands up.
A woman who had good credit, I feared her. A woman who was a good thinker, I feared her. A woman who had intelligence and wisdom and knowledge and a good car and good credit and got a good job and could speak good English, feared her. Mm. But the woman was the $5 girls and the $10 girls and the girls who just want a hoagie or a Lucy or a chicken box. I would go get her. Why? Because she won't reject me. Because I had what she wanted. But a woman with substance. Proverbs 31. Everybody read their Bibles. Right? Proverbs 31. Or anybody Muslims in here. Surah 4. Right? The virtuous woman. How she thinks to how she walks. I feared women like that. I had low self-esteem. Anybody like that in here? Low self-esteem? It's okay if you do. The weak person gets strong when their hand go up. The weak person who plays strong stay weak when they front like nothing going on with them. Fear of what? Being rejected. Is rejection bad all the time? No. Rejection can be good, right? Yeah. Ladies, that man you wanted, but who didn't want you? Come to find out, he be putting his hands on what?
Women.
Yeah, everybody hear that? Don't work on your couch like Frankenstein, smoking weed. Thank God what? He told you no. Yeah. Guys, anybody have a woman that listen, she look good on the exterior, but internally, her house dirty? Yeah. Anybody behave like that? Yeah.
You look in the corner and be like, are those diapers?
So rejection sometimes can be a good thing. I got my heart broke on Valentine's Day. It didn't feel good. I listen, and I know how men, like Rob said, I know how men feel when you've been hurt and you don't get healing for your hurt. And the next woman who comes in our life, we can hurt them. Let's go deeper. Some men got issues with their mothers. It starts there. Not with the woman, his mom, how he was raised, his aunts, his stepmoms, whoever raised him. And the resentments and the anger and the bitterness there grew up to him being a what? A grown man. So women, never take it personal when a man what? Disrespects you. Alright? When a man hits you, it's something going on inside of him. I heard T.D. Jakes say that. When men put their hands on a woman, it's the rage and the anger he has for himself. Then he put it on what? His woman. And women who have low self-esteem think it's her fault. Maybe I need to put on Victoria's Secret. Maybe he needs some grits and some eggs.
Yeah, Victoria's Secret might help.
Maybe I need to invite another woman to our bedroom.
Uh-oh.
Let me be quiet.
That's another show.
Hey. Fear, rejection. All right, it's not always bad. Sometimes it's a blessing to be rejected. Come on, let's go.
Handy Dan.
Repair store.
Arthur Blank
And Bernie Marcus.
Yes. Guess what? These guys got fired from Handy Dan.
Mm-hmm.
They sat down to a cup of coffee, and guess what they came up with? Home Depot.
You remember that?
What's the years on that?
1979, their first store opened up. 1984, these cats on Wall Street. 1996, billionaires. Two guys who got rejected, got fired, didn't blow their brains out, didn't get crazy, got together with intelligence, wisdom, resources, got together and come up with Home Depot. Rejection is a blessing in disguise. Anybody hear that?
You always want to be the person that write the check, then cash the check.
I heard that. Yes. And listen, some of us get mad at our family members. Family are more dangerous than strangers. Is that true?
Yes, indeed.
Right.
They kick you when you're down. I always knew you weren't going to be nothing.
Yeah, right. Listen. Sometimes say, listen. God was like, I'm trying to get your attention. You don't need your family. Let them go. You don't just need me. And I'll raise up people in your life that you need to walk this walk called life. The people who we thought should be there ain't there.
And we'll tell you this. In the good book, guess what it said? It's a time and place for everything.
That's right.
So it's time to congregate. It's a time to be by yourself. And sometimes you have to be by yourself so you can meditate and you can focus on what life is. Because when we start talking about goals, hopefully we come back, we could talk about goals. Goals are very important. If you don't have goals, a lot of times you'll flounder in the sea of life.
Fear of the unknown. Who's afraid of the unknown? So you stay with the familiar. Everybody hear that? All right.
What's the familiar?
The familiar is like the hood, projects, smoking weed, crack smoke, perks,
Name some projects. You got some projects down here?
shootouts. We're familiar with that right there.
Comfortable with that?
Tricking. Everybody hear that? So I'm comfortable with what? That lifestyle. That's poverty. That's a poverty. Poverty is mindset. And if I want to get out of poverty, the mind has to change. And that means I got to go somewhere where I feel uncomfortable. And that's the what? The unfamiliar. And a lot of us are afraid of the unfamiliar. Some people have never left Washington, D.C.
I sure ain't.
Never get a passport and get out of here and go see the world. When me and Rob are blessed to get more money, we're going to grab kids and we're going to take kids to a place where they can humble up and guess what? Into Africa, one place. Do you know water is a luxury in some places in Africa? A bottle of water is all they want. And we take that for granted.
It's becoming a luxury in the United States.
God. Yes, throwing food away.
Yo,
and people are hungry.
I work in a teenager home, right? And the water's free. But they think it's sharks in the water or something. Because you go on that joint, you'll pass out. They won't even wash up. And you got people, like you say in Africa, they got to go 2 miles just to get a bucket of water.
Kids eating mud pies.
Wish sandwiches.
Yes.
Wish you had something.
And see, kids need to see that, to see how grateful they are. Anybody hear that? And they don't know how hard it is when, listen, we didn't have TVs. Remember those days?
Remember you had to dial on the phone? 1, 2.
Who remember pages? Beepers. Anybody remember beepers? Yeah. All these cell phones. Listen, we had one big ass phone. That was it.
You hold the battery, and I'll be on the phone.
Right. Now that everything is so goddamn complicated because everybody wants what? Money.
Yes.
The fear of the what? Rejection. Fear of what? Unknown. Who's afraid of success? So you self-sabotage. Afraid of success, so I self-sabotage.
Can we get an example? Anybody ever did it before? How'd you do it? What's your name?
My name is Ornella.
Hey, Ornella.
How y'all doing?
All right.
So, right now I'm a peer specialist.
Okay.
And I'm afraid to venture out into a new job because I'm comfortable where I am. I'm comfortable with the population. And I don't want to take on more tasks just right now by Datum Armory at the methadone clinic where I am right now.
Okay. All right. We'll talk to you after we leave here. Because we try to come back and, do some groups like we do in Philadelphia. We speak at 40 facilities in Philly. And we try to spread out here in D.C. But God bless you. Let's give it to her, y'all. God bless.
Hey, but we tell you this. In life, guess what? You have to challenge yourself to get to the next level.
Yes.
You understand what I'm saying? You got to challenge yourself. So what am I saying? And as you start doing things and you start getting more responsibility, you know, in the good book, you know, God told Noah to what? Learn how to delegate it. Don't think that you got to do everything by yourself, because network makes the teamwork.
That's right.
You know what I mean? So you got, you know, they say within your circle, you probably $3,000. Everybody making around $3,000 of each other. You know? So if you want to move to the next level, start getting with some people that's doing what you want to do.
Some people told us, me and Rob, that they're afraid of success because when they get success, they don't know how to what?
Maintain it.
Keep it.
Don't know how to hold it.
Hold it. So if I got a mentality like that, guess what? I would never try to succeed. And guess what? And when you have kids are what? Watching. Everybody hear that? I get so angry with these adult babies. Because my parents didn't argue in front of me and my brother. Old school. Everybody hear that?
Yeah.
Everything wasn't for children. Let children be kids. And kids got some. Who watch Adult Swim on TV? Mork and Mindy.
The Family Guy?
I forgot their names, right? South Park. These are adult cartoons being exposed to what? Our babies. Everybody understand that? And listen, when you have kids, your life not over, but it's all about the kids. Everybody understand that? My mother and father, they sacrificed every day. My grandparents had 9 children in South Carolina. And when that rooster crowed, everybody better be up. Everybody hear that? My grandmother grabbed the chicken and chopped the chicken head off. And that chicken ran around the yard twice, then collapsed. My grandfather said, "Excuse me, son," and got a shotgun and shot a pig right in the head. No disrespect to none of the Muslims, right? And shot the pig. I said, "Why did he shoot that pig in the head?" Shot that pig in the head, cut him open. That's where you get chitlins from.
Really?
I didn't even know. I threw that pig on a pin for what? 2 days. The best meat I ever ate. My uncle in Baltimore, rest in peace, he passed away, had a garden. His yard was about this big, and he had the best greens you ever had. Straight from the what? From the earth. From the earth. Fear of rejection. Fear of the unknown. Afraid of success. Who's afraid of failure? Give me your marks, get set, we don't go. Hey, right, you want some answers? Who's afraid of failure? Why?
Young lady, what's your name?
I've been failing all my life. For the day I'm succeeding, and I'm not failing. I'm not thinking about failing no more. And I'm on a new path. I'm unstoppable. It's all about going ahead, succeeding, being successful. I set a goal. I'm making a plan.
Very good.
But that's all I was doing. Failing, getting high, just kept failing. But I'm afraid today of failing. I don't want to be that person no more. So I set a goal, made a plan, and I'm going with what I'm going for.
Okay. You in recovery too?
Yeah.
How much time you have clean?
I'm going on 5 years.
Give it to him! Okay. Our hand was up too. Come on. Afraid of failure.
What's your name?
My name is Penny. I'm afraid of failure because I think people really want me to fail.
Anybody hear that in the back?
Yeah.
How do you know that?
Because I just feel that or hear people
talking.
Yeah.
You can like read their
Yeah.
mind? What's he thinking?
Who knows?
But
anyway, so you know, I don't want to fail because I truly don't want to fail, but I'm definitely ain't gonna make other people happy watching me fail. So.
Okay. You in recovery too?
I'm not in recovery, but I have the desire to be.
Very good. Let's give it to her, y'all. Encouragement. Encouragement. Come on, sis. Come on. What's your name?
Beatrice.
Beatrice. How you doing?
All right. My biggest problem is being afraid of myself.
Y'all hear that in the back? Afraid of herself.
What do you mean afraid of yourself?
Well, there's things that I can do. I know that I can do it. I know that I'm good at it, but I'm afraid to just jump out there.
Anybody hear that? She's afraid to jump out there. That's that faith gotta kick in.
What's your name again?
Beatrice.
Miss Beatrice, do you know if you do something and you fail or you don't, it doesn't work out, that's actually not failure? You just found a way not to do something. You understand? So we gotta find ways to just keep trying, because we only fail when we quit. You understand what I'm saying? The guy with the what's his name with the lights? What's his name?
Who?
The guy that created the light bulb. Edison, Thomas Edison.
Thomas Edison.
He tried like 2,000 times and failed to do the light bulb. And guess what he said? He said that was 2,000 ways not to make the light bulb. But he didn't stop it. You know, we only really fail when we stop.
Right. Let me ask you this. What is it that you want to do that you're afraid to do?
Well, the two things that I plan to do is to one, be a motivational speaker.
That'd be good.
Two is to get really serious back into my sewing like I was a few years ago before I had this breakdown.
Okay. Very good. Okay. All right. You could do that, right? All right, let's give it to her, y'all. Encouragement.
Mr. B. Chris, guess what they said? The number one fear, right, is to speak, do public speaking. Right? Number one fear is do public speaking. The number two fear is to die while you're doing public speaking. You know what I'm saying? So what I'm trying to say is you have to walk through the fear. Fear is nothing but what they call an illusion. False expectations appearing real. A lot of stuff is upstairs in our head, and it prevents us. Like when she mentioned about the thought, I was just joking, but that's called, what they call it, negative forecasting, mind reading, and all catastrophic, always thinking the worst. We always thinking the worst instead of thinking about the best. See what I'm saying? So really the prison is up here.
Right.
The only limitations we have is what we put on ourselves.
Okay, thanks for saying that. Let's go to the next one, y'all. Afraid of change.
Oh.
Who's afraid of change? Anybody afraid to change? You want to be the same you, but want to have a different what?
Mentality. Outcome.
Who said that? Outcome. Very good. Yes. Anybody afraid of change?
No, you might want to change, but you might want to keep a couple of your bad habits. And it don't work.
Very good. Y'all hear that? Might want to keep a little bit of badness.
Just in case.
Anybody hear that? All right. I will compromise what? My righteousness for a taste of wickedness.
But when you change, you supposed to change everything, especially the third step says your God understand. He said change everything.
That's right.
That's why
So
I'm recovery.
you go through the steps, practice the principles in all your faith.
That's right. That's right. Come on, sis.
I changed.
What's your name?
Debbie.
Hey, Miss Debbie.
I've changed everything about myself except one thing.
What's that?
Being selfish for me.
Mm.
Because if I don't be selfish for myself at times, I'm not going to get anywhere. Giving. That's all I used to do, and now it's time for me to step up. So I got to be selfish for me. I come first.
Okay. Very good.
So now, I'm in a position right now where I got knocked back. At first, I let it get to me, but it's just a process. Now I see it's just a process. It's just a test to see if I give up. But see, yeah, I brag on myself. I'm highly intelligent. I have quite a few certifications, but I can't get to where I need to be without cleaning this up back here.
Okay.
So right now, I'm just sitting still and being humble, giving him that time to process me through. And then once that's clear, I'm not better than nobody, but I'm going to push myself because there's no tomorrow. You know
Not for you, Deb. I keep telling you about that. It's not tomorrow.
Nobody's promised tomorrow.
Yeah.
That's what you mean, sis. You live every day like it's the what? Our last.
No, I live every day just like my beginning. That was not my thoughts. I'm just speaking about
Okay,
me.
for you. I got you. Understand. But nobody's promised.
You don't know.
Right. Nobody knows.
100 something. Then I might be thinking about, it might don't be no tomorrow for me, baby. But today is tomorrow.
Okay, all right. That's being optimistic mentality. Very good. Very good.
When I think of death, I'm gonna die. All that stuff I kill me on the street, I'm living.
Okay.
I'm living my best life.
I got you.
Sky the limit.
Okay. Go fool. Thanks for sharing that too, sis. God bless you. Fear. How about the next one? We got thing. How about liars? What are liars at in here?
Oh, they don't be lying.
Decepticons.
Little angels.
Decepticons.
See that? Nobody ever lies.
Decepticons. See that hand right here. Come on. What's your name?
Mandy.
Hey.
Yeah.
You be lying sometimes?
I used to. dishes that I didn't want nobody to know how bad they were.
Anybody hear that? Yes. Okay.
And then that was the truth. And because of all of that list, that pride and that programming and everything like that, I lied my way through life for the first 32 years of my life. I'm pushing, I'm getting close to 70, put it like that. And I have learned that if you want something better in your life, you want to be more up in life, you gotta start getting honest with yourself first.
Anybody hear that?
You gotta do it with yourself first.
That's
Before
right.
you start with anything with anybody else.
Awesome.
You know, if you're going out there to get that job, then be honest that you have this colorful past that everybody wants to know about.
they doing the background.
That's the bottom line. You know, they can't do nothing to you. There's only two things that people can say in this world: yes or no. That's it. You know, either you got what you came for, or you just gotta go look somewhere else because they said no. And I spent the first 32 years of my life, I was just lying to myself. You know, my children asked me, Mama, why did you stay so long in that abusive relationship? You know, it was because I had a man. I didn't give a damn if he beat my hind parts every night. I didn't care. You understand me? I had a man. I could go out there to my friends and I could say, yeah, my rent's getting paid because at least he gives me $100. You know, or at least he brings a steak home every once in a while. But it wasn't enough. And I had to realize that. I mean, I had to stop and self-evaluate. You know? Because sometimes when we lie to ourselves, you're lying to God. When you're lying to everybody else, you're still lying to God. And when you say your prayers, you're saying it with a guilty heart because you know you're lying. You know you done lied your way through that first 12 hours of the day. And you still got 12 more to go. What you gonna do with them?
Be honest.
Basically.
Yes.
Because when you're lying to yourself, you're lying to God. And when you're lying on your own head, on your own soul, you're lying to God. Find out who you are. Find out where you want to be. If it's the right place for you, He'll guide you.
That's right.
He'll let you know. It's time to move on. And it took me 12 years to find out that I could not continue to live in the lies that I was living in. So I planned and I plotted. And I didn't tell my right hand what my left hand was going to do. But I moved on. I got 32 years clean time.
Hey!
How I got it. But I'd be damned if I'm going to let you influence me to give it up.
Amen.
Because what I have now might not be much in anybody else's eyesight, especially all those people that I went out there and told all them lies to. But they think I should be a millionaire by now.
Okay.
But I am where I am. I'm here. I'm not going to say that I'm totally satisfied